Hi everybody, I'm Brian Linder, and welcome to Wikia's Expert Showcase. Today we're here to talk about Riddick, the latest film in the epic sci-fi franchise starring Vin Diesel. I'm here with two prominent members of the Wikia community, along with a very special guest. First, let me introduce Travis, Lord TJ, the administrator of Riddick.wikia.com. Travis, what's up, man?
Glad to be here, Brian.
And we have another member of the Riddick community on Wikia, Barbie, aka Zelda8999. Barbie, how's it going?
Hey, happy to be here.
Nice. And now we also have the #1 expert on all things Riddick. It's the man behind the franchise himself, filmmaker David Twohy is with us. David, thanks so much for being here today.
Hey man, glad to be here. Glad to meet with the true fans.
Yay!
Yeah.
David, I want to jump right in here and ask you, I wonder what's kept the Riddick flame alive? What's kept you kind of driven to continue building this world and sharing the story of this character?
That drumbeat came from the fans because, after the last movie, there was some uncertainty. It was only because Vin was hearing the same thing that I was hearing. Well, we see each other at events, and I said, are you kind of hearing the same thing I'm hearing? He said, oh, dude, you don't know. He says, I get it all the time on my Facebook page, and when people stop me on the street, and it's like, they want their more Riddick, So they want their Riddick. So we started to get together probably just about 4 years ago, seriously, and sitting down, talking in his kitchen about, okay, well, is it going to be a studio movie? I don't think so. So that means it's going to be an independent movie. Okay. So that means we got less money to spend, right? So, well, what is that movie then? What would it look like? And just throwing out crazy ideas, some of them too big, too expensive for us. But we said, as long as we can get this guy back in the saddle and have him doing his cool, ridiculous things, being true to his character, and as long as we can somehow incorporate the existing mythology in the Necromonger world and not turn our backs on it. We don't necessarily have to advance it for this movie, but as long as we don't turn our backs on it. That was kind of our approach. That this doesn't have to be the definitive Riddick movie, but just seeing Riddick back in action is what they wanted, and kind of, kind of what Vin Diesel wanted too, because he was getting to miss that character. Vin talks about how he sometimes looks in the mirror when he's shaving or something, and he sees those silvery eyes staring back at him. And he says, God, I know it's time to do a Riddick movie again.
That's awesome.
And Travis, I know you can identify with that, being such a huge fan. Tell us what it is that makes you such a big fan of the series.
#1 is, today we have a lot of superhero movies. Riddick is an anti-hero. So while everybody's standing for justice, peace, save everyone, Riddick is the one saying, like, hey, don't bother me. I won't bother you. But if you do bother me, I kill you.
Yeah.
And one thing about Riddick is that it's not an adaptation. Today we have a lot of adaptations. We have a lot of remakes. Riddick is an original character, and you don't really see a lot today. And I think that's something that really makes Riddick stand out from the rest of the movies today.
He is an anti-hero, and he's a killer. No questions about that. He's a stone-cold killer, but he does have a code. And basically, you're right. If you leave him alone, he'll leave you alone. But if you come to his place and you say, basically, I'm going to put your head in a box, guess what happens? Probably more than likely, your head's going to wind up in that box,
And Barbie, I know you're really pumped too, and you're anxious to jump in here. Did you have a question for David?
Just basically, I'm really, really psyched just to see like the evolution of Riddick in this film, just kind of going to the next stage. What are you most excited about that the fans will get to see of Riddick?
Well, that we haven't left behind, and we're back to an R-rated movie this time, not a PG-13, because, you feel like you're pulling your punches sometimes as a filmmaker when you do PG-13, and suddenly I'm realizing the characters aren't really talking like real people talk anymore, because, you only have one per movie or something like that. So we wanted to leave all that behind, get back to our R rating, and just be, tough-edged again. What's cool about Riddick this time is that he's a man that realizes that as king shit of the Necromongers, he's probably lost a step. He's probably become a little too complacent. There's this great shot in the movie where it's like he's sitting in his private quarters, and he looks over kind of wearily at his bed, and there's 4 starkly naked women in his bed, and they're all asking him, please, come back to bed, Lord Marshal. It's like, oh, geez, I don't know. Is this what it's all about? Have I somehow sold out. Is there something else for me out there? And is that something else understanding who I am by understanding where my homeland is? Furia.
Travis, you wanted to ask about Riddick's weaknesses.
Yeah, DT. I noticed that inside the movies and inside the video games, we see that Riddick, he has a particular soft side for children. And I wanted to know, can you shed any light on where this may come from? Is this a result of his past childhood?
Looking at it from his character standpoint, here's a guy whose personal backstory is that he was abandoned as an infant and basically discarded, thrown away. That backstory was told in Pitch Black. Then in Chronicles, we actually see that the necromongers came to his world and basically conducted this campaign, this pogrom, to take out a lot of the young male Alpha Furians because the Lord Marshal had this Herodian prophecy told him that, in fact, somebody on this planet will be your undoing, right? Some young man who's just born on this planet will be your undoing. That probably speaks to his affinity for children, yeah.
Since you mentioned the prophecy, one of the taglines for the Chronicles of Riddick was, "All the power in the universe cannot change destiny." And inside the movie, Ariane, she calculates, and of course we are foretold the prophecy. My question is, will we ever learn Riddick's ultimate destiny, and for what reason was his past chosen for him?
Well, we will learn his ultimate destiny when, either in the next movie or the movie after this, we return him to his homeland of Furia, and he has to, in that movie, set that world right, which has been destabilized. And so Riddick will go back in the final movie and find this a destabilized world that he helps put back on its feet, right? I think that answers the first part of your question. And I'll probably have to write that damn movie before I can answer your second part of your question.
All right, and on a lighter note now, I want to go back to you, Barbie. I know you're a big Vin Diesel fan, and maybe you had a question for David about that.
Well, I think that just in general, people are pretty intimidated by Vin Diesel and just kind of like his characters that he tends to play, things along those lines. What is it really like working with him, like the real Vin?
Some people dismiss him as just the action hero, a guy with big muscles, and maybe he's not too smart, but that's not the case at all. He's a lot smarter than some people give him credit for. He's been at this a long time. He's a big dreamer, right? Like anything is possible with Vin, and that becomes infectious to the people he works with, me included. I just can't let him dream me so far down the road that I'm shooting shit I can't possibly afford on the set, right? Yeah. You gotta watch out for that. He doesn't talk to me. He doesn't chat me up too much. But he's always thinking big, and he really has an impact on everybody he works with. He gets people to believe in him and believe in themselves. So he's really good like that. He's a really good motivator like that. And just about the time you think, he's got an ego. Don't get me wrong, like most stars do. But he's got a good heart to balance that all out. So it's just not about ego and head. He's got real heart to him.
And David, speaking of Vin, I know the two of you have collaborated on this for some time, and it's been mentioned that you've approached this film in a very uncompromising way. You mentioned the R rating earlier. I know a lot of fans are happy about that. These guys are probably happy about that. Can you tell us what the thinking was there?
The impetus of going for the R is that it's where we should be, and we regretted not doing it on the last movie, but that was a question of studio politics. So Pitch Black was R. We felt comfortable there. We had to get back to an R now. We just knew it. And so that was a done deal from the moment we started talking. It's a pretty tough movie, I must say, and great nudity, too.
Well,
including a little Vin Diesel.
A little Vin Doodle. I like Vin Doodle.
No, not his doodle, but a little Vin Diesel Backle nudity.
Okay.
Nice.
Look at Barb. Nice.
Well, and David, I had the opportunity to talk to Katie Sackhoff at Comic-Con, and she's such a great actress, and she's used to playing these strong characters who are always more than meets the eye, Is there anything that we'll be surprised to learn about her in the film?
She has a secret in the movie. We start to uncover that secret just at the end of the movie, though we keep it a little ambiguous. But she is pretty much, Kitty understands her character, and she goes and she plays it, and she's really good like that. And so it is a straightforward character, well played, but she has one secret that she's hanging on to, and we start to uncover it right at the end of the movie. And again, we leave it a
I thought
little
you were
ambiguous.
going to tell us what the secret was, David. I thought we were going to have a moment.
No, it concerns her sexuality.
And now, Travis, I'm going to toss it over to you for one last question for David.
All right, so you and Vin have already, you two have already said there's going to at least be 2 more movies, which will include the Omniverse and Furia. My question is, on what type of scale would these next 2 movies be it budget-wise and story-wise?
It's a damn good question. I'm not sure we know the answer to that yet. If we go to Underverse, it's a damn big story and requires a suitable budget. Furia would probably be more contained because it's kind of a one-world setting again. But we'll see. We'll see. The next few weeks are going to be dynamic times for both me and Vin and you guys too.
And that's a wrap for this episode, you guys. I want to thank our community members, Travis and Barbie. Thanks for being with us. Everyone keep checking out riddick.wikia.com for everything that you need to know about the Riddick universe. And special thanks to David Twohy. David, thanks again for being with us today.
Peace out.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on Wikia's Expert
Bye,
Showcase.
guys.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.